Hello, everyone. My name is David Cerna, and I am an instructional consultant here at C.A.L. And I want to introduce our special guest today, Dr. Ebony Shockley. So she'll go ahead and get started with our workshop topic. Thank you, Ebony.
Thank you. Good day to all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. Today, we're going to talk about bringing your lessons to life and unlocking AR and VR. Before we do that, we have on the first slide asked for you to share your learning goals, but if you didn't get a chance to do that in the chat, you will have that opportunity returned to you when we talk about the workshop goals. Okay, so just some logistics. This is one of the first workshops that we are hosting using Zoom. And so we really just want to make sure that our participants are familiar with Zoom. And so some of the features that you'll notice, if you hover your mouse at the bottom of the screen, and if you're using the app, it looks a little bit different, but you'll have the opportunity to unmute and start your video, which we hope that you do. And we also will be asking you to, as I mentioned, participate in the chat and to raise your hand. So I will also show you some of those additional features. So the chat looks just like that if you see number 2, and we will show you some additional features on the next slide for Zoom. That's the raise your hand. So again, if you hover your mouse at the bottom, a toolbar will appear and it will read, for me, it reads mute, stop video. There's also a security feature depending on the version of Zoom that you are using, and then the chat and the raise hand feature that the C.A.L facilitator has organized for us. This is what you can do with your screen. Now, something that we don't have appearing for you is the opportunity to adjust your layout. But if you look in the upper right corner at view, upper right corner, you'll see standard, speaker, and gallery. Gallery view is the view that is before you, okay? So gallery view is what this looks like, or speaker view, and you will see potentially me. Although right now I see David. David, I don't know if you spotlighted C.A.L or not. So I might.
I think it's just us two.
Okay.
Our videos on. Yeah, perfect. Look at that, right?
Okay, no problem. And you are more than welcome to engage with us with your video on. By the way, as David mentioned, my name is Ebony. My pronouns are she, hers, and feel free to adjust your renaming by the 3 buttons in your little, I call it Hollywood square, in your little Hollywood square. There are 3 buttons at the upper right of your image or your avatar. And you should have the opportunity to rename. And if you don't, it might just be the way that you signed in or logged in, depending on your credentials. But typically, if you log in using your faculty credentials or your staff credentials, your work credentials with your @udc.edu, you should have the option to rename yourself, and you can call yourself whatever you would like for us to call you and add your pronouns if you so choose. So that is just some little administrative information. So the goals of the workshop today are before you. We want to present an overview of immersive technologies, and trust me, the technologies are massive. And so this is an overview. It is a snippet, and we want to just whet your palate with what we share with you today. But we hope that you are as excited as we are, or become as excited as we are about immersive technologies. As well, we want to discuss how these technologies are used in the education sector, because we are at an IHE. And so we will provide some video, quite a few short videos that offer an overview of the range of immersive technologies, and then some specifics about how you might want to use them in the education sector, as well as in your lives outside of work. And then we want to apply our knowledge by using an available immersive technology available to you right now. So we're not just going to talk about the theory, we're also going to put it into action. Okay, Now, at the end, of course, we will offer a space for questions and answers, but that does not mean that you cannot pose your questions right now. So before we go to the next slide and jump into the content, could you please, for us, enter your name and your unit? We would love to know any title or titles that you want to share. But tell us what you want to learn today. And you might tell us if these goals align with your goals, because this is the first workshop and there'll be others, but we want to know what you want to know. And that way we can craft and offer additional options for you in the future. So please go ahead and use the chat, whether you're using the Zoom app or using your phone. Share your name, your unit, and or your title, and then what your workshop goals are. So what do you want to know from us? What can we help you with? How can we get you excited about immersive technologies? All right. And I'm going to do the same. And I want to make technology. All right. So far, just David and I, so we're going to wait. We want a couple more people.
We can have a conversation too, right, Ebony? Oh, there's Misty.
All right, Misty.
Mm-hmm.
You'd love to learn about new technologies that you can teach the students. Okay, for sure. Let's have at least, let's see, one other person. Let's get one other person. And actually, I think that Sally, thank you, Sally. Sally, I'm a Floridian too, by the way. I see you in Jacksonville. To learn more about tech that will help keep students engaged in learning. Thank you, Sally, for that. Okay, so let me see if we want to volunteer anybody else. I think that's enough. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Yeah.
To help create a multidimensional classroom. I like it. Awesome. And thank you very much. Anu. Program workforce development. Okay, wish to learn how to make learning more immersive. Okay, all right, great. So that helps us. And of course, by the way, we are recording and you should have pressed the button to say got it. And that is your consent to us that you are okay with us recording for you. And so we will save these answers again as we move forward with the offerings that become available. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what are immersive technologies? Well, immersive technologies are a merging of what you see outside or inside in the physical world with your eyes. And then those spaces can be simulated with reality. They could be superimposed with some fictional characters or beings or actions that offer a space, a practice, a routine to build skills within a career for lifelong development or to become one of the jobs or to fulfill one of the jobs that we are trying to help our students and our colleagues learn to fill. They are a way to engage creatively. They are a way to extend our knowledge, and they are a way to almost jump into another space. So there's technology that supports an immersive environment. That technology might be headphones. It might be your phone. And there are two types that are widely used. So you might have heard of augmented reality and virtual reality. And in this workshop, we'll call it AR and VR. And basically, immersive technologies create distinct experiences by merging the physical world with a digital or simulated reality. Okay. All right. So there are some differences between augmented reality and virtual reality. So we want to make sure that you see those differences. So augmented reality is digital content that is superimposed over a live stream of the physical environment. I'm going to show you a video of augmented reality. Let me share my screen. Okay. 1 second. Here we go. Now, this augmented reality that I'm going to show you It's a place where some people have been. I already mentioned that I am from Florida, so you might be able to guess where this is. You may have taken individuals in your family there. You might have been there, but this is one of the examples that I believe in the 1990s when this term started to gain traction, where some folks might have begun to experience. David's from California, so he probably went to the other one, to the competition, but I'm not going to hold that against him because I like David. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at augmented reality.
Sells for serious filmic fun as American.
Oh, I'm sorry. American Express decided to hijack our. Oh, here we go.
Express makes you the star of your own movie magic scenes.
That's true.
When I start counting down, just stand near that marker and then act your heart out as each scene unfolds all around you.
There you go. Can you hear the sound? Okay. So again, do you see how that's a physical environment with something immersed on top of it? And where is this place? Go ahead and guess. Drop it in the chat. Let me see. Somebody write it. Okay, Pokemon Go. Yes. Good. All right. So we know this is Disney, right? Universal, yes. Universal is part of Disney. And anybody, well, it's in the top. So what movie is this from? You have to know there are several versions. Let me play a little bit more. Okay. So that's a park that I only want to visit in a non-real space, and that would be Jurassic Park. Okay, so all right, let's keep going. Let me share my screen again. Then I'm going to show you a different experience with virtual reality. I'm going to get started. Hold on one second. Share screen. Here we go. Now, I've actually been to this place, but I want to make sure that you can. So this is another way that you can engage learners, right? So this is different. This is virtual reality. So it's immersive, but you immerse yourself into the space, and you can do that with some interesting glasses that we actually are going to have at the University of Columbia. And this is the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam, and they look better than any picture I've ever taken. All right. So that's virtual. All right. So think about what ways you can put up the slides for me, David, if you don't mind. What are the spaces? Because I mentioned jobs earlier. What are the spaces that you would like to frame and create for your students or your colleagues, depending on what your roles are? I saw workforce development on here, and some other roles. What are spaces that you would like to create, which is an absolutely necessary skill, or visit or simulate that would build a skill, that would engage, that would expose, that would immerse the individual in the technology so that they can advance their knowledge, right? And of course, there's also the thrill. So augmented reality, the digital content superimposed over live stream. So you saw the dinosaur superimposed and they walk right in front of us. Okay, I hope that doesn't happen to me today because I don't know. Okay. And then virtual reality is it replaces your physical surrounding. It is a 360 immersion into the space. It is not the same as just the regular virtual tour that you might see or you might have seen before. It is a complete opportunity to 360 into some physical surroundings. And then we have these terms, mixed reality. So mixed reality is actually a combination of AR and VR. And it's when they're integrated both in the real world and in virtual content. So it's two. And I personally feel like some of that AR from Disney was also some mixed reality, because it also included the real world. And I had put the video up, and I was like, I forgot American Express also joined Universal Studios. But you have the real world enabling that interaction. And then there's extended reality. Extended reality is the encompassing term for the full spectrum of VR, AR, and MR. Why? Because it's actually on a spectrum. It's actually on a continuum. And we're going to look at what that is. But let's explore the differences a little bit more. The next slide should be immersive technology. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, let me see. 1 second. Okay. So this is, can you see what, does it say to help companies build a more skilled workforce? Okay, thank you. All right, just the overview.
I just mentioned both virtual and augmented reality, or for a more collective term, immersive reality. And that's largely what we are going to focus on throughout this series. In this video, I'm going to cover what immersive reality is and how it is being used for L&D. Okay, so what exactly is immersive reality? I'm going to break that back down to virtual and augmented reality for you. Virtual reality consists of an artificial environment, typically created by a software or app, in which the user is fully immersed in an experience that is altered from the real world. Basically, when you put on a VR headset, your body is in your living room, but your brain thinks you're flying over a mountain range or at a carnival or on a beach in Hawaii. The possibilities are endless. Augmented reality is a bit different. AR adds digital elements to a live real-world view. If you've ever played Pokemon Go or used the dog filter on Snapchat, you've experienced AR. The word augment comes from the Latin word augere, which means to add to or to increase. So augmented reality adds to the current reality. Sounds pretty cool, right? But aren't VR and AR for gaming? How can these be used for learning and development? All right, it's true. The gaming and entertainment industries have had a stronghold on VR and AR, but according to Superdata, nearly half of VR's enterprise users are educational companies and institutions.
Exactly, educational companies and institutions. And we are one of those educational companies. I like that reaction, Cal/David. So let's look a little bit into what that could mean for education and what's happening in the field. All right, so technology in immersive environments coined as immersive technology or immersive realities are on a continuum. And we're going to look at how this appears in your life, like maybe you're using them already, and in the education sector. So here is that continuum that I was mentioning. Real environments, right? So this is your direct view. So whatever is in front of you right now, that's your real environment. And then you have these mixed realities, which is AR and VR. So virtual objects overload, that's the AR in a real world environment. And then the augmented part of that, which is the real objects projected. And then the virtual reality. So that's immersion in a fully digital environment like you saw in the video. Okay, so that is the continuum of the immersive technologies. So, are you currently using immersive technology? Let's get into using Zoom a little bit. So I'm going to give you some examples, and we're going to use a Zoom feature. Again, we're also dropping implicitly some Zoom action in here because we want our faculty and staff to use Zoom. So we're going to use a Zoom feature now, but let's look at how you might currently be using it. Online shopping, for example. And by the way, we're not getting any kickbacks or coupons from any of these companies, to be clear. And if you know how we can, I'm just kidding. Okay, so here we have Macy's. So Macy's, as you see, they have the headsets where you can step into a virtual reality and you can actually go into the store. They have go into the rooms to work with their designers when you are shopping for furniture. Some of the Macy's stores and some of the other stores that are brick and mortar, and I really feel like a part of the pandemic has catalyzed this, have operated and offered a way for you to go into the store live with the immersive technologies to figure out what it is that you want. All right. So that's online shopping. Home improvement. If, for example, you're painting a room, I used this app yesterday. If you are painting a room or if you're doing something creative in your home and you're not sure how it's going to look, you take a picture of it and then you use Color Snap. And the Color Snap will change the color for you. It's so exciting. And so to help you figure out if that's really the color that you want on your walls, for example. And then automobile browsing. If you are in the market for an automobile, or if you have a pie in the sky, I have a lot of pie in the sky ones that I'm sure I won't ever be able to drive, but a lot of the companies have this opportunity where you can hop in and pretend you're driving. So we wonder if you can, at the top of your screen, especially if you're using a desktop, and if you're using the app, you would want to go under your settings and do this. There's a view option. So it might read, you are viewing David Cerna C.A.L screen. Next to that, it should read view options. A window should appear, and under that window, the word annotate should be there. We'll wait. So I'm going to give you those directions again. You're viewing David Cerna C.A.L screen. Then there's view options to the right of that. Under that arrow, if you click view options, use the word annotate. Hold on, let's see. All right. Under annotate, I want you to use the stamp option, and I want you to drag your stamp to the screen. I just put a heart on online shopping. Did you see that? So click on the stamp of your choice. It will change colors. Mine turned to blue. And then you can click on the one that you think you probably have already used. I'm 100% sure that I've already used the online shopping one, 100% sure. And here are, so we want to see what you may have already used. Let's see. So we have some online shoppers. No automobile browsers. Okay, there's a star at the top. It looks like it's on its way. Automobile browsers, join the club. Home improvement. Okay, awesome. So are you currently using these technologies? And by the way, every single thing posted here, the little Macy's app, the Color Snap, and that's a Ford. I forgot what kind of Ford, but you can drive through the city in a Ford. That's the Ford app. And so here are some ways that you might be currently using. And so people ask, oh, well, how might I engage? I think if you're thinking about how to turn a personal experience into a collegial experience, especially if you were doing something with engineering, that can be an option. Home improvement, if you're doing anything with architecture and design, online shopping, you can, for anyone, or if you, there are other apps that you can use as well, and other features. And we're going to talk about what those are. So I hope you enjoy using the annotate feature if you have not before. And if you want to close out of the annotate feature, you just need to go back to annotate and click the little left X on the upper left, and it will clear you out. Upper left under annotate, and it will clear you out. Thank you, participants. Let's keep going. All right. So there are some interesting ways that syllabi can be enhanced. We're going to show you our final clip, and then we're going to talk through what the research describes that's happening in some of our peer institutions. And then also we're going to talk about what we have available at this institution. So let me see if I can share the last one. Let me see, 1 second. Hold on for me, please. It disappeared from my screen. I'm gonna have to pull it up. Okay. So while we are pulling up these promising practices, let me just tell you what some of them are so that I do not waste your time. One of my favorites that you're going to see in a second includes an app on your phone that will allow you, I'm pulling the link, David, if you have access to it, you can just drop it in for me. An app that will allow you to take a picture of a person's body, physique, and after doing so, you're able to see the, hold on one second. You're able to see, you're able to see a virtual reality of the organs in that body part. So you're going to see this in the video, and I have the link right here now. Copy link. All right. Now that you've seen the full, all right, here we go. Okay.
My job is to make.
1 second. Let me get past the. Here we go. So this is, of course, one for astronomy, and NASA offers some free apps. These are some AR portals that you can use with your students. That's Niagara Falls. This is one that I mentioned when I was pulling up the video where you can scan. I was a biology major, just saying I'm partial. You can scan and the app will then begin to show you parts of the body. So this is a history example where you can walk by and walk into history. So there's a design feature that's very important when thinking about the education sector in AR and VR. Okay. So you can move into 3D learning. Anyone involved in literacy, you can consider the storytelling feature, the animation. The virtual reality worlds that you can create. You can hear from some of the influencers in the field on immersive technologies. So that is just an overview of some of the options that are available. And by the way, one of those images included the Oculus glasses, and we will have those at the University of the District of Columbia, and I believe they'll be available in November. And so you will learn more about that as the availability and the space comes to life for your use. One other very important component that I want to spend about 5 minutes just talking to you about is how the immersive technology has expanded so far in education. And so here you have some of the research being used on immersive technology, a lot of which actually has been successful in working with exceptional learners and atypical learners. And for example, teaching social skills to students with autism spectrum disorder. And I'm going to actually drop the link to the article right here for you in the chat. 1 second. And that particular, 1 second. In that particular article, those researchers basically showed how they were able to engage and advance the skills of the learners that they were working with. And so we hope that you will consider, I'm dropping the link in the chat right now. In addition, you saw the feature that was used, this is it. That's to the immersive technology article. The app that was used in the video for education and immersive technology, where you scan and the different systems and body systems appear. And we also wanted to provide a local example of what's happening at a peer institution, Howard University College of Pharmacy. Their students are using a 360 immersive experience in virtual reality in their training. And they're able to even use some of the hardware from home and at their homes and in different spaces, put the article there, so that they can learn and engage and expand their skills and simulate a real world environment. Also, there's some literature and actually a book out on immersive technology in smart cities. And so the ways that cities are making different features accessible for the populace. So we wanted to document for you some of these examples here using immersive technology in education, both in video and then what is happening and what is occurring in the literature, so that you can have an idea of some of the extensions and enhancements and the ways to engage learners in an augmented reality or virtual reality or mixed reality space. So what I'm going to do now is I will turn this over to you, David, so that we can allow for some action and use of some of the technology that we have presented.
Well, thank you very much, Ebony. That was quite enlightening. I do want to have a stopping point now. Are there any questions that you have for Ebony so far of anything that she's covered? You can just unmute or type in the chat box if you do have a question. And if not, we'll have some time for questions at the end as well. But thank you very much. So I want to move on to an example of AR mixed reality that's happening right now in action. So this is an introduction to Eon XR. And just a quick pop quiz, what does XR stand for? Let me know in the chat box if you remember.
Or use your reaction button.
That's true. XR.
XR. Okay, Misty, I think enters in first place.
You got it. So thank you, Misty. So remember that XR is extended reality, which encompasses everything with AR, VR, and mixed reality. So nice work, Misty. So I want to show you an example of an app called ENXR Reality. And look at this quick video. So this is on an iPad, and I can look at the sun, Jupiter, all the planets in our solar system. I can have that on my desk, and I can move it around. I can also click on different things that are in that picture. So as you can see right here in this example, very interactive. And there are so many uses of what you can do in the classroom. So just a quick overview of how we can use Eon Reality. And there is a free version, and I'll do a quick walkthrough of how you can use it, even just from your phone. So you can really create, learn, and train on any device that has Wi-Fi connectivity, which is really exciting. If we look at this video right here, you can see I can move this around, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and I can also make this an interactive, clickable type lesson. So think about the ways you can do that in your own classroom or with your own lessons. You can really design, develop, and distribute lessons from one modality to another. And it's quite easy. You can do this from the computer or from your phone. full AR and VR functionality on tablets, smartphones, and desktops, and interactive lessons that you can do very quickly. So I'll run through on how to do this from your phone in just a few minutes. So before we move on, I did want to show a case study example, and this is Marilyn from Mohawk College in Canada. Let's see how she is using this in her classroom, as well as how the students are interacting with this Eon XR reality app. Let's watch.
My name is Marilyn Powers, and I am the Director of Academic Technology Integration and Innovation here at Mohawk College. I have been working hard with the faculty to encourage them to start incorporating AR and VR into their curriculum. We've been mainly using the Eon XR platform in order to do that. And so I've held workshops. I've found that many instructors, when they start and embark on this, what they really need is a breadth of what is possible, what is AR, what is VR, what is all this terminology, and what can they actually do. We've looked at a few innovative ways of making that bridge between, I think I might want to try it, to actually putting it in place. And we've bought models. Sometimes we're able to find models that already exist in the platform. Sometimes we have made some. And we really try to get some of our students involved in doing this. So students who have modeling experience, some of our students, of course, have come through the Eon Academy, and so they're able to help us.
My name is Minnie Thomas, and I'm the professor in computer and electrical engineering, and also for the digital health degree program at Mohawk College. So I try to implement the lesson plans for the introductory semester to engineering skills and systems, for introducing them to some basic block diagram and systems. Students use them in this term, and they have been really excited, especially when they can see the x-rays of the systems they are building, and when they can explode and see the parts coming apart and then bringing them back together. They appreciate it in the sense, because these are the things which they may never be able to see internally. What's happening, what's the black box, what is inside that black box, they may never be able to see that. When we tried it this term, it was, we did it through the LTI integration, and that made the process very easy for the students, because students could easily log in with with this integration, and they have been going through the process of looking at all the lessons.
So I'll pause here, but some of the big points from this video are, think about your students and how they can interact with an object in 3D or AR or VR, even if they're learning remotely or they're in different places. And you can create these specific lessons for them that are very interactive with this AR and VR technology. So let's have a quick discussion point right here on how can Eon XR really increase student engagement in your classroom. And here's a screenshot from the app from the desktop. And you can see that there are different categories, and it's not just all STEM focused either, which is really nice. There are things about geography, arts, humanities that you can really use in different kinds of spaces. So I'll give you a few moments to think about how can you use this or leverage this technology in your own classroom. So let me know in the chat box, or you can unmute. And I'll actually share the live website, right? How can we use this in our classroom? So for example, if I want to visit the Vatican, I can go ahead and click here and play the lesson. Especially now since I can't visit in person. Right? Of course, when I want to show this, it doesn't work, but I can also show you on my phone an example of AR in my own office. But any other ideas about how we can use this in our classroom?
There's a reply in the chat from Stuart that for workforce development, VR would be valuable to stimulate an A+ lab, a phlebotomy lab, and several others.
Excellent. Have you used this in your classroom, Ebony?
I haven't used this particular feature, but I have used Google Cardboard in the classroom. I think that that's a fun way. And I'm looking forward to creating a virtual tour of all the places that I want to go, as you mentioned, that I can't go, and then linking it to some of the course objectives like public speaking, presentation, collaboration, for example, articulation. I think that those, and creativity. So I'm looking forward to that as an option.
Definitely. Thank you, Ebony. I also see in the chat box with Anu, I was thinking along the same lines, look inside a computer, hardware parts without having to disassemble. Excellent, right?
And, you know, I was thinking about when I was little, I played with the game Operation, and, you know, like how to recreate that opportunity for dissections, you know, right? But in a virtual space, in a simulated space, especially for people who don't really want to touch, who don't really want to touch the specimen. So I think that would be.
And you know, another thing too, is when we use these kinds of technologies in the classroom, we can make it really uniform for all the students, right? And we don't have to get an actual computer where they're looking inside with different parts, but we can really make it uniform and then just effective for all of our students, right? So thank you, Ebony. So I do want to do a quick walkthrough. If you do want to use this app, there is a free version available for you. It's called Eon XR. And if you have a Google or an Android phone or Apple phone, you can find this on there as well. You can also use this on the Oculus Quest. So the Oculus is that VR headset made by Facebook, as well as Magic Leap, which is another type of VR headset. And you can get this on Windows 10 as well. So there are so many different options. You can start with one of the free versions, and this will be really, really fun. So I do want to do a quick run through of how this is on my actual phone. So I'm going to share my phone screen. Okay, so you should see my iPhone on the screen right now, and I do want to share this Eon XR app. Let's hope that it works well, right? Especially when I'm demonstrating. So here's a lesson that's all about Triceratops, the toughest of all dinosaurs. And this is a lesson made by another instructor. And there are so many lessons in the library that you can use right away. So you don't have to start from scratch. But if I click on start lesson, you'll see that starts loading. I'll put this in landscape mode. And as you can see on my phone, I can see this Triceratops. So let's give it a second so you can see it on Zoom. There you go. So here is the Triceratops, and this is in VR. So I can zoom in and just give it a couple seconds, and I can move this Triceratops around. So it's a little bit laggy on Zoom, but you can see right here on my phone, I'm able to move this around, zoom in and zoom out, and I can really look at different details of the Triceratops. So it really comes to life right here. Now, a really cool function is I can use the AR technology here to put this on my desk. So if I click on that AR button, okay, there you go. And I can tap it and place it on my desk right now. So let me go ahead and do that. So you can see it, right, in real time. So I'm able to kind of zoom in. I can move this around, right? And think about all the different functions you can use with this with your students. It's really combining and putting these AR figures or using AR to put figures on your desk right there, right? Ebony?
Yes, I was just gonna pause and see if anyone had any questions on how to download from their smartphone. So if you have an iPhone, of course, you're gonna use the App Store. And if you are on a Android, you're gonna use the Play Store. I just downloaded on my iPhone and on my Samsung. I waited just so I could walk through the steps if anybody has any questions about that. And then, so I just wanted to pause, and I hope folks are pausing to actually join us in the action part of it and not just the theory. Download it just fine. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Sally. So it is really cool on the phone. I know it didn't really work so well showing it on Zoom, but let me go ahead and stop sharing this, and I'll share my screen. but a really fun way to use your phone, your tablet in an innovative way in your classroom. So think about having these objects, they can put them and place them in their room or in their classroom space, make them bigger or smaller, and really look at those fine details right there, right? And thank you again, Ebony. If you do need some help with this, please let us know, right? I know this is similar to the Google 3D animals. My son has the best time using it and taking pictures at home. That is great.
Before you talk about the PLC, is there anyone who is downloading now and wants to sign in and share? And we can give you capabilities and you can share and we can walk you through because we have it on our phones and we can walk you through the steps. We want you to begin using it. We try to give you ideas and then something that you can use right away. And yes, that was the same dinosaur in the Jurassic Park video.
Oh yes, that's true, right? I guess our theme is dinosaurs today. Right? I want to watch the movie now.
I know, so do I.
Yeah.
But we just want to pause and see if we can offer for you the use of it. Yes, good point about the Google 3D animals, as David mentioned. So we'll just pause to see. And of course, we will give you our contact information if you decide to use it a little bit later, but we do want to give you the option. We want to show you that this is something that is feasible. This is something that you can use right away to liven up your classrooms, to continue to engage students. And as I mentioned, the Oculus headset will be available. They're actually, I think, available now. We're just making sure that the space is ready for you. And we're really excited and want to make sure that you join us as we continue to innovate and create fun spaces for you and for your colleagues and for your learners, if you're a faculty member.
And a really nice free way to engage your students, especially if they're working remotely.
Yes. David, do you want to put the actual website in too, just in the chat?
Yes, let me go ahead and do that.
Because I'm imagining that folks are using their desktops and they could see what you shared.
Yeah, let me go ahead and put it on the screen for everyone.
Okay. It's the Eon XR. Thank you, Stuart, for that question. It's the first one.
Yeah, so it's Eon XR. You can install the classic one. I think that's the one I'm using right now.
Oh, you're doing the classic because I did the first one. You're using the classic?
First one? Yeah, maybe that's why it was so slow, but yes.
Oh, because it's a classic. Got it.
Of course, yeah. So it looks like I'm looking right now. There's the classic. Oh yeah, so the Eon XR, actually that's the one I got, the first one, yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we have the URL for you if you want to,
yes.
Because we imagine that some of you might be on your phones, but others of you are using your desktop so that you can get started. Okay. Thank you, David, for that pause. I hope it's helpful for everybody before we talk about PLCs.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Ebony. So I'll go ahead and talk about our PLCs right now, which is a great opportunity to really share ideas and learn best practices from each other. So let me go ahead and talk about those. So first, what is a professional learning community? This is a small group of educators that meets together to share experiences and information. And I'll be heading this with Dr. Moore with the C.A.L team. And this is a great opportunity for you to really learn and have some fun with technology with each other. The community has these common goals, including sharpening teaching skills and increasing students' academic performance. Think about now, especially in these interesting times, how we can really engage students further. And the members of the PLC will display active involvement and a deep commitment to efforts that improve education. This will be through presentations, really sharpening skills, and workshops just like this one. And the PLC will really give a feeling of community for everyone here. And this is open for both faculty and staff at UDC. Now let's go over some of the goals and what members will do in a PLC. So really setting those goals for growing your teaching skills and using technology to host conversations with your colleagues. So one of the things with technology is there are so many different forms and different types and apps with technology, which can be quite overwhelming. So let's think about ourselves as curators and think about how we can leverage different types of technology more effectively in the classroom without overwhelming ourselves. And you're really cultivating mindfulness and encouraging members of the PLC to stay on task. And when working on individual goals, as well as PLC goals. So lots of great opportunities here. So I will be putting the link to sign up to join a PLC, and this will be starting next month in October. So let me put that link in the chat box. And you can also scan the QR code on the screen if you'd like to do that right away. Let me put the bit.ly again. Yeah, it will be a dash. So it's bit.ly/cal-plc, right? Or you can go ahead, if you have your smartphone next to you right now, just point your camera at the screen at that QR code. That'll scan it and take you directly to the form. So currently right now we have 4 different types of PLCs. We have one for Microsoft Space, which goes over hardware and software. The first meeting of that will be on the 15th of October. We also have our Apple Talk, Apple Education PLC, LinkedIn Learning. So if you'd like to curate a learning path for your students, really leverage this LinkedIn Learning resource that we have here on campus. So that will start on the 29th. And then we have immersive technologies. So just like Ebony went over before, AR, VR, MR, XR, going over those, that will start on November 5th, right? So please join one of these PLCs. You can also let us know more information as well. Do I have any quick questions about PLCs? Hopefully I can see all of you in one of these PLCs starting next month. So I do want to open up the floor for Q&A, but before I do that, I'll put our information from C.A.L, and Ebony, feel free to add yours as well. So my name is David Serna. I am an instructional consultant here with the C.A.L team. My email is david.serna@udc.edu. If you'd like to join our PLC, you can go ahead and go to that bit.ly link, and that's C.A.L-PLC. If you'd like to sign up for office hours or other professional development, next week on the 29th, we have our other instructional consultant, Julian King, will lead a great workshop on Gradebook Wiz and Blackboard Ultra. So I know that we get a lot of questions about that. Julian is a pro at Ultra Gradebook, so I hope that you can join that. That is on the 29th. You'll find that on our PD page right there. So let's open up the floor to any questions from the group, or Ebony, final thoughts.
Yes, as folks is formulating their questions, I hope that you'll share in the chat how you are thinking you might want to use AR or VR in your classroom. Please let us know. We'd love to support you in that endeavor. Or how you might use the app that we presented in your classroom. We'd love to know that. Any ideas? And even if you think it might be next semester, how are you envisioning the use of the app? Okay, Misty, interactive body and cells. Thank you. Others? Think about your work or your syllabi, your own professional learning. You can also tell us, Mr. King, make your post public. IT segment showing computer parts, yes. Oh, there's a question about PLCs for you, David, or Fatma's also on if she wants to answer. I'll read Julian's answer about using VR when working with 3-dimensional shapes. That's the math educator. There you go. Area, volume, and derivative. Fun. And you might have observed in the video that we shared on using immersive technologies in the education sector. You saw, I think those are some, yes, there were for sure some math and numeracy concepts in that video.
Anu, that's a great question for the time slots. We are finalizing those, but they will be in the afternoon. And Fatma, feel free if you want to hop in on the PLCs that we went over.
You're muted.
Yeah, so the time slot, we have the dates, but I think we haven't settled up for the day yet. So this is all going to come in a week or so.
And
Okay.
feel free to share that link. I'll put them again in the chat box for the PLC form. Please share with your colleagues, with your friends, and if they'd like to join these PLCs. It's a great opportunity to learn from one another.
And you will have access when you join the PLC, you will have access to the devices, sharing knowledge. So please join us so we can have that discussions.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for us? We have 1 minute left. We thank you for your time and for your attention. Thank you, Stuart. We appreciate it so much, and we hope that you have learned something new, at least one thing that you want to apply right away, or in the very near future in your work, or your research, your teaching, your service, or your scholarship, and engagement with peers around the University of the District of Columbia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ebony, I want to thank you for a brilliant presentation. I learned so much from you as well. Thank you so much for your time and with your efforts with this as well.
Yes, it was a pleasure working with you, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so Sally, play around with the Eon XR app. It's really cool. There are so many different things. I was able to visit different ruins, virtual tours of museums. Awesome.
I'm excited about carrying our Jurassic Park theme,
Yes.
David. Outside of this space, right onto my table.
Exactly. I love dinosaurs too, so it's perfect.
Me too.
Right?
Okay. I'm probably going to use the Tyrannosaurus Rex because that's my go-to, but got it. All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.